What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hookshot podcast. My name is Lucas Cohen. I'm here alongside my friend Rohan Borges, and today we will be breaking down UFC Sao Paolo and talking about a few other things as well in the NBA world. Big trade went down, and UFC 295. We didn't talk about the Jones pullout yet. Got a lot to talk about when it comes to that. Rohan, how you doing?
I'm doing good, my man. I mean, can't believe last night, 3 a.m. is when that James Harden
trade
went down. We were awake, of course. But yeah, crazy trade went down, obviously, and then we got a lot of fights to talk about. Yep. I'm doing good, man. How about you?
I'm doing well. Looking forward to this card on Saturday after another break of UFC. No fights at all. Yep. I was depressed. I'm not going to lie. I had to do a lot to entertain myself. No UFC. I kind of wanted to end it all. Sorry. But here we are.
No UFC will do that to a man.
We're back. And you know, this card right here, UFC Sao Paolo, not a lot of name value. I'll tell you that. However, I just love it when you're in a country and every single fight has a fighter from that country.
Yeah, I agree,
every single fight on this Brazilian card has a Brazilian. But let's get right into it. Let's start with the main event. Jailton Almeida will be taking on Derek Lewis. This was supposed to be Almeida versus Curtis Blaydes, which would have been an incredible fight and a big test for Almeida. I really didn't know who was winning that bout. However, in steps in Derek Lewis, and it was February 2023 when we saw Derek Lewis get thrown around the cage by Sergey Spivak, and now he's going up against who people are calling the Brazilian Khabib. This can't end well. Right, Rohan?
I agree, man. I just don't see any way that Derek Lewis wins this fight. Of course, this is one of the most seasoned fighters in the UFC on their roster. He's been through it all. He's seen it all. And he's been, on the positive side of one of these kind of fights where, we saw him knock out Curtis Blaydes in brutal fashion with that uppercut. And I just don't think that Jailton Almeida is going to present an opportunity like that. If you recall that fight, Curtis Blaydes did not look all that good. And that takedown attempt that he shot was one of the most sloppy takedown attempts I've ever seen. Jailton, man, he is not like that. He's going to be on point this entire fight. And to your point, this is the heavyweight Khabib, man. He is just relentless with that pressure. I think he's going to take this fight to the mat. He's going to have success. And I see him finishing this fight, unfortunately. We love Derek Lewis. I think he just signed like an 8-fight contract or something like that, right? So, regardless of this outcome, he should feel good about where he's at. I just don't see him winning this fight. Jailton inside the distance.
I don't either. And I think Jailton gets it done in the first round by submission or TKO. I don't know, but I think either way, it ends in one. And as long as Almeida is able to get it down, it should be game over.
Yeah.
And that's all there really is to say. I mean, Derek Lewis, if he could land that uppercut on the takedown shot from Almeida and knock him out, you never know.
Yeah, hey, we saw that flying knee, man. He's reaching deep into his bag of tricks recently. So, maybe he pulls something out and shocks the world, but it's just not happening, man. I don't see it.
I don't think so either. That Sergey Spivak fight's really sticking out to me. This should be Jailton Almeida all day, every day. Let's move on to the co-main event. Gabriel Bonfim will be taking on Nicolas Dalby. Bonfim is a prospect that tons of people are so high on, including myself. I've made a lot of money on both of his UFC fights. That fight against Mounir Lazzez, big guillotine choke. Do you remember that? I think you might have bet as well.
Yeah.
He choked him out in 50 seconds. Yeah. Incredible fight. And they did this very same thing to Trevin Giles. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What a guillotine that was. Back-to-back guillotine chokes in the UFC, and also an incredible Von Flue from the bottom. In his contender series fight. This guy is insane. I gotta go Gabriel Bonfim. I mean, this guy has the striking as well. It's not like he's just a submission artist. He will beat you up on the feet until you're forced to shoot a takedown, and then he will submit you. If you look at the career of Nicolas Dalby, he's yet to be submitted. Yeah. I can see that changing here. He's yet to be finished at all. But still, as long as Gabriel Bonfim has the cardio, he has not won a decision.
Yeah.
But that's fine because he's gotten round 3 finishes. He has a round 3 finish in LFA against an undefeated opponent. I think that's big. And some round 2 finishes as well. I mean, I think this guy's got the cardio. As long as he doesn't go balls to the wall in the first round against the guy who's durable, this should be Gabriel Bonfim all day, every day. What do you think?
Agreed. I think that this guy, 15 fights, 15 finishes, he is an absolute tank. And I mean, look, Dalby is not a can by any means. To your point, he's very durable. He strings together long combinations. I was watching his film a little bit yesterday. He's a tough guy, man. There's not a lot to suggest that he's going to get, brutally finished in this fight. But I think that Bonfim is just going to overwhelm him in every aspect. I think, on the ground, we've seen what he's able to do. To your point, as the fight gets longer, his cardio can hold up. He's not somebody that just wavers later in the fights. I think he's going to be dangerous through the full 15 minutes.
Yep.
And I don't see Dalby winning this fight. I think he's going to, make it a little little tougher maybe than some people expect. But yeah, I don't see him winning, and I think Bonfim actually continues that finish run that he's on. I think he finds a finish as well. So yeah,
gives him his first finish loss. Very interesting, and I could see it happening. And also this is a very big step up for Nicholas Dalby at 38 years old.
Big step up.
Big step up at 38. I like Gabriel Bonfim in this matchup, and Rohan, I'm gonna have to agree. I think at 38, he's never been finished, but I think this might be the very first time.
Yeah, he's never faced anybody like this guy, man. Like to your point, a big step up for him at 38 years old. It's not a recipe for success.
I'm with you, Gabriel Bonfim. I think he gets it done. We're going back-to-back big favorites. We're boring again, but it's the truth. Let's move on to the next fight in the main card. Rodrigo Nascimento will be taking on Don'Tale Mayes.
The rematch.
Michelle Waterson-Gomez versus Marina Rodriguez. I thought that was the rematch nobody asked for. This gotta be. I didn't even know they fought. Bro. I didn't even know they fought. It was recently. It was in 2021. And it was a finish, right? Was it?
It was
rear naked choke in round 2. 2020. Apologies. May of 2020. Rodrigo Nascimento finished one Don'Tale Mayes. Will he do it again? I don't know. I think he was on roids back then.
Was he really?
Because he popped when he finished Alan Badeau. That fight, has been overturned to a no contest ever since. I don't think he gets him out of there. Maybe he does. I don't know. This is just, it's the rematch for nobody asked for, but why is it on the main card? I mean, you have so many great fights. Elvis Brenner versus Ribovics. I don't know if that fight's still on, but if it is, that should be on the main card. Elezu Zaleski versus Renat Fakhretdinov. That guy's a stud. Angela Hill versus Denise Gomes. I'd rather see that over this fucking sloppy heavyweight fight. I could not give a flying fuck about this fight, and I don't know why it's right next to the co-main event, but here it is. I'm going to give a prediction, and I'm going to go Nascimento. I mean, he's not on the roids, but I think he doesn't. I mean, I just have no reason to not say Nascimento. Why? Give me your prediction. Before you do that, just move like your mic cable just a little bit because it keeps hitting the bottom. Gotcha. Under. There you go. Gotcha. Who do you got in this fight, Nascimento versus Mayes?
Yeah, again, to your point, rematch nobody asked for. I got to go Nascimento. If you look at the numbers from their first fight, so he outlanded him in the significant strikes 45-42. It was really close, actually. And total strikes 45-42, significant strikes 32-27. It wasn't actually much of a domination by any stretch. Mayes had his moments. He's a hard hitter too. But once the fight got to the ground, Nascimento kind of took over, and I think that's just probably where I gotta go again. I think that's just the safer choice. Of course, it's a heavyweight fight. We all know anything can happen. Mayes is a guy that hits really, really hard, but man, he has no takedown defense. Nascimento's gonna look he knows where he has success against this guy. He's fought him before, finished him before. I just think he does it again. So I got Nascimento. Maybe he doesn't finish him. Actually, I think he does win though. I think he'll use the wrestling and win this fight.
Yeah, here's the thing about Don'Tale Mayes. What is he good at? I mean, he's like everywhere.
Yeah,
that is Don'Tale Mayes. And if you look at his
wins, how old is he too, man? He's old.
No, he's young for heavyweight. Actually, he's only 31 years old.
Oh, really?
6'6". He's bigger than I thought. But here's the thing about Don'Tale Mayes, right? Listen to his wins in the UFC. His 3 wins, right?
Yeah.
2 against shit opponents and 1 against a guy who's a stud at heavyweight. Andrei Arlovsky, garbage. Josh Parisian, garbage. But, Roque Martinez, he is a stud. We have to look at that. That is a great victory. That is aging very well.
Roque Martinez. If you beat Roque Martinez, you are next level. So.
And for those that don't understand sarcasm, Roque Martinez is probably the worst fighter we've ever seen in the UFC octagon. But I'm praying he returns to the UFC because that guy is a stud. But we're both going Nascimento. I believe he's not that big of a favorite. Only
the line's pretty close. Yeah, it's the let's see. He's minus 171 on BetOnline.
Between minus 165 and minus 170.
Minus 185 on DraftKings.
Oh yeah.
Mayes plus 154. It's a close line, yeah.
I do think he's not going to be as dominant as he was before because if you think about it, Mayes, he was 28 when he fought Nascimento. Mm-hmm. Why are we still talking about this fight? I'm sorry. Let's move on to the next one. This is a great fight. Kyle Barrio will be taking on Abus Magomedov. I feel like this is just tailor-made for Kyle Barrio. I don't think Abus Magomedov is complete garbage. But it's just, after round 1, what the fuck is next for this guy? He got absolutely fraud-checked by Sean Strickland. And, badly.
Yeah.
Fraud fucking checked. Here's the thing about this fight, right? This guy, Abus Magomedov, you'd think he's fucking working every day on his cardio after that fight. He's taking this fight on short notice, and he's flying to Brazil against a guy in Barrio who doesn't get tired and has a great ground game. This is a recipe for disaster for Abus Magomedov. I'm looking at finish props in round 2 or round 3 for Barrio. I'm going to give that to you guys for free because I'm a good guy. If you want all the bets, you know what to do. Click the link in bio. 50% off right now. Sorry to plug. But this should be Barrio all day, every day. It's tailor-made. short notice. You have the better cardio. You have the ground game. And don't get me wrong, actually. I've seen a lot of tape of Abus. His takedown defense is not bad. It's just Strickland took him down like fucking butter. He didn't even take him down. He just fell to the ground. Dude, as soon as round one, if Barrio can survive round one, which, Abus has a chance in round one. He does. Don't get me wrong. This isn't like he's fucked. He's fucked all 15 minutes of the fight. This guy has a chance in round one. However, he's literally fucked. He's literally fucked. He's gonna get finished, right? I mean, I think.
I got it.
Unless he survives, it's Barrio all day, every day.
Agreed, 100%. I got Caio finishing this fight, and to your point, short notice, but man, you could say that loss against Strickland aged well because Strickland's the champ now, but no, because he looked bad. He just looked straight bad in that fight. And Barrio, man, you brought up the wrestling. This guy's striking is different. He's next level on the feet as well, and he's so durable. He's so big. He hits so hard, and he's got really good head movement for somebody of his size as well. I think that, obviously Abus is going to have to look to keep this fight at distance if he's going to keep it on the feet. Again, he's got decent takedown defense, but Barrio is so overwhelming in that department. I think Abus is going to have to try to keep this fight at range, but Barrio is so good at just closing the distance, staying in your face that entire time. And again, man, this fight goes past the first round. The cardio is going to start to kick in, and Caio is going to take over. I just think that, man, he is so powerful. He's what's his record? I think he has one loss, right? But he's on a roll right now, man. He is on a fucking roll. And he's fighting in Brazil. He's got the home crowd behind him. 14-1. How many finishes? 8 finishes, 4 by submission, 4 by knockout. He's so well-rounded as well. I just think there's no way, if this fight goes past the first round, that Abus wins this fight. So, I like Caio actually, and I like him inside the distance. I could see round 2, round 3. And I think he's going to knock him out. So I'm going to say Caio by KO.
We're both going Caio Barrio KO. It's interesting, but I could definitely see it happen. Is my mic on? Yes. Okay, we're good. Sorry, I just heard a little echo for a second. Let's move on to the next fight on the card. Rodolfo Vieira versus Armen Petrosyan. This is the definition of a clash of styles. Yeah. One guy who's shit striking and he's looking to get it to the mat ASAP, and one guy who is a great striker but has literally zero takedown defense. Mm-hmm. It's tough. This is a very tough fight for me because if Vieira was just anywhere near polished on the feet, I'm going Rodolfo Vieira all day, every day. It's just, is he going to be able to get it to the ground? Mm-hmm. I don't even know. This is going to be a really entertaining fight, and probably a fight from a betting aspect I'm just going to completely stay away of just because, I don't know. This guy's so sloppy, but if he gets Petrosyan to the mat, he could be fucked. Another thing about Vieira is he doesn't have the best cardio.
Yeah, that's the thing I was going to say as well,
It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
I want to hear what you think before I give a prediction.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to have to go with Petrosyan. I think it's just a safer pick because of, like you said, the cardio and then the striking advantage. I think the later that the fight goes, it just favors Petrosyan. Yeah. And Vieira, man, he almost got finished by Cody Brundage. He was able to survive, and he actually found a finish.
Cody Brundage. That is Cody Brundage.
Bro, Cody Brundage, man. So, this just goes to show how bad his striking is. So, I agree with basically everything you said. I mean, it's a crazy clash of styles. Obviously, each guy has their game plan. I just think that Petrosyan, I believe that he'll be able to defend enough takedowns early, and I think later in the round 2, round 3 starts to pick it up on the feet. So I'm gonna go Petrosyan. I could see it being even a split decision if that first round is closer because of the wrestling, but I think Petrosyan gets it done. I'll go unanimous decision.
I don't know. I'm gonna go Vieira. Fuck it. I'm going Rodolfo Vieira.
We gotta be different, right?
We gotta be different at one point. We're always on the same page. Yeah. It's such a tough fight to call. I'm sure you can see.
What's the line on this one? It's
very close, I believe.
It's pick 'em right now. -110 on Bet Online, and then DraftKings has it. Basically the same. -108, -112. So this is a very, very close fight to call.
I'm going to go Vieira, though. Petrosyan has horrible takedown defense. If he's able to escape that round one, it's Petrosyan all day, every day. I'm just, again, guys, stay away from this, but I'm going Vieira, round 1, submission. Let's move on to the next fight. Ishmael Bonfim. Excuse me. So many Bonfims in this call. Ishmael Bonfim taking on Vink Pichel. Dude,
who is that? I didn't even know who Vink Pichel is. He's been in the UFC for so long.
Don't hate on Vink.
No, bro. I know. He's a legend, apparently. I didn't know he was in the UFC for that long.
He is a legend. Come on, don't hate on
This guy is 38 years old.
He is 38. He's an older guy. He's going up against Ishmael Bonfim, who showed great patience in his UFC debut, knocking out one Terrence McKinney, but then got destroyed by Benoit Saint-Denis. But at the same time, we all know who Benoit Saint-Denis is now. This guy is a fucking monster and will run through a truck to win a fight. a lot of people, surprisingly, a lot of people are on the plus 320, plus 340 underdog in Vink Pichel. I just can't get there because you look at the guys who have given Vink Pichel trouble on the feet. Not even 38, he's fucking 40 years old. Mark Madsen, our favorite fighter, gave him trouble on the feet. Like, come on, if you're having trouble on the feet against Mark Madsen, I don't think Bonfim's a killer. I just think Bonfim's going to beat you on the feet. I don't know if Bonfim gets him out of there, actually. Vink Pichel.
Yeah, he's only had 2 losses by a finish.
One knockout, one submission. Yeah. He's got great takedown defense. Vink decides to shoot. I don't see that happening. It's going to be a fight on the feet. I can't see Vink having success. I'm not running to the bank to put Ismael Bonfim in parlays, actually, just because, I don't know. I just got a bad feeling. However, everything's telling me that this is, again, a Bonfim brother winning all day, every day.
Agreed. You know what the UFC's trying to do here. They're trying to get him back on track. Again, that loss to Benoit aged well, man. We know who Benoit is. That dude is a beast, and there's no shame in losing to him. But we saw what he did to Terrence McKinney. I mean, this guy, he still has a bright future, regardless of that last loss. And I think this is just a fight to get him back on track. It's a 40-year-old fighter in Vink Pichel, or whatever, however you say his name. Look,
Pichel.
Come on,
don't disrespect. Come on. You're getting
my bad. But I don't see how he wins this fight. I think Bonfim is going to have the advantages everywhere he gets it done.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you all day, every day. We're both going Ismael Bonfim, the minus 440 favorite, heavy favorite here.
Yeah.
We're going to head to the prelims now. We're not going to go in depth on every single fight, but we'll briefly go over every fight, I guess. Elvis Brenner versus Rebovix. I see a lot of people on Twitter saying this fight might be off. I think it is off. It was removed from UFC Stats and ESPN. But I'll just talk about it real quick. You don't even have to say anything if you don't want to. Elvis Brenner coming off a big win against Kudalatse. I had a lot of money on Kudalatse, and Elvis Brenner proved me wrong. Going up against Rebovix, who doesn't have the best takedown defense, I think if Brenner's able to mix up his strikes and his takedowns, this should be Brenner, and I like him at the minus 160 tag. Again, that's if that fight happens. Daniel Marcos, undefeated Daniel Marcos, taking on Victor Hugo. Hugo, Contender Series guy, great submissions on the ground. It's just based on his regional fights, I don't think he has the best cardio. Daniel Marcos, a lot of people thought he lost his last fight against Davey Grant, including myself. However,
I remember that one. I did think Davey Grant won as well.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But I do think this is a slight step down. The submissions early are going to be a problem from Hugo, but as long as Marcos can stuff the takedowns, I like Marcos in the spot. And we can talk about this fight because this is a fight I'm really looking forward to. Yeah. Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos taking on Rinat Fakhretdinov. I see tons of people actually on the dog here in Zaleski. I disagree. I'm loading up Rinat Fakhretdinov in parlays, and I'll tell you why. Elizeu Zaleski, I feel like people are betting the underdog Zaleski because of what he did against Saint Denis. Not in his last fight, but in the fight before. Excuse me. But that was against Benoit Saint Denis, who was fighting at 170, not his natural weight class, and coming in on very short notice. And also, I think Elizeu Zaleski popped. I don't know if it was an intentional steroid take from Elizeu, but I know he popped. His win didn't get overturned to a no contest. However, then he went and fought Abubakar Nurmagomedov. I thought he lost that fight. Very close fight. Could have gone either way. I just think if you're having that close of a fight with fucking Abubakar, I think this is Rinat. I think Rinat, I don't know if Rinat gets the finish. I think he grinds him out for all 3 rounds. Give me Rinat Fakhretdinov to get the win. How do you think this fight goes?
He's just such a beast, man. Like, you watch this guy's fights, and it's just so hard to deal with that style that he brings to the table. And again, like, Zaleski's having trouble with guys that he really should be handling a little easier than that. Abubakar Nurmagomedov, not the best. I don't know how he went to split, but I think that I wouldn't pick the underdog here. I think Rinat he's on a roll as well, and I think the UFC are still trying to build him up. You know, we saw in his last fight against Kevin Lee, that shit was not even close. Brian Battle, he beat pretty handily. You know, I mean, he's just on a run right now. I don't think it's stopping anytime soon. So I agree with you 100%. I got Rinat to win this fight.
Both going Rinat in that matchup. Another fight that I'm sure you have some things to say about.
Angela?
Vitor. No, not Angela. We're not there yet. I know you're excited to talk about that one. Vitor Petrino versus Modestas Bukauskas. And I say that you might have some words because, you know, one clip that lives in both of our heads rent-free that we always talk about is when Modestas Bukauskas got his fucking knee stomped. I don't know why I'm laughing. Christ. That shit is nasty.
Sidekick to the knee is how they describe it on Tapology. Yeah, that's what it was. It was a fucking stomp. He stomped this shit out, bro.
Stomp. But now
he's been on a run since.
He went to the regional scene. He won some fights on Cage Warriors. Yeah. He came to the UFC and beat Tyson Pedro. That was UFC 284 back in February. Great win. Then beat Zach Pauga, however the fuck you say it. Who gives a shit? He beat him in a very close fight, and now he's taking a step up. Vitor Petrino, I don't know how much you know about Vitor Petrino. Undefeated guy. He's looked good everywhere. This is a step up in competition. He's going from fucking Marcin Prachnio to Bukauskas. I think we see a close fight. I'm going Vitor Petrino decision. What are your thoughts?
I got to agree with you there. I think Bukauskas, he has some good wins in his past few, right? Pauga, Pedro, you mentioned. But those guys, specifically those two, they have really similar styles. You know, Pedro, and that win has aged well because Tyson Pedro looked really good in his last fight as well. But Pauga and Tyson, they're both pretty, stationary fighters. They look and wait for that one big shot. I think he's going to have a lot more to deal with here in this matchup against Petrino. And he's, again, the Brazilian fighters in front of that raucous. Actually, the last time they went to Brazil, wasn't the last time they went to Brazil when Glover retired? And they were fucking like dead in there, right? Weren't they like not even supporting him in his retirement? That shit was ass. So hopefully the crowd is a lot better than that. But yeah, I just think having the crowd behind him will definitely help. And he's younger too. Yeah, I got him in this fight as well. I got Petrino.
All right, we're both going Petrino there. Next up, Angela Hill versus Denise Gomes. I see a lot of people on both sides in this fight. I just think what people aren't really talking about, Angela Hill took a lot of damage in that last fight against Mackenzie Dern. Against fucking Mackenzie Dern, dude.
Yeah, she's improving on the feet. She's getting a little better.
She is. But Hill's now 38. She took a lot of damage at strawweight. And Denise Gomes has something that you don't see a lot at strawweight, and that's power. I don't know. Did you see her last fight against Harrigan? On UFC 290? Bro, she knocked her out in 20 seconds. Really? 20 fucking second knockout at strawweight. When do we see that? Yeah, we don't. I think if this fight goes past round 1, I think Angela Hill wins. However, I'm going to go Denise Gomes landing the bit. Actually, I could see Denise Gomes, it being this is how I see the fight going, actually. I'm actually not going to go Gomes round 1 finish. I think Angela Hill actually does win minutes, but I think within the last minute of each round, Gomes will land like that big strike.
Yeah.
And Brazilian judges, they're going to be on Gomes' side.
Bro, but how many fucking times has Angela Hill been on the wrong side of some bullshit decision? Like, I swear, she has 13 losses. At least half of those you could have said, oh, she might have won that. Like, it's always close with Angie. It's just that's how her fights go. But I agree with you, man. I think in Brazil, like with those judges, and I didn't know about the power of Denise Gomes. I didn't know she hit like that because that is crazy. We don't see that from anybody but Jessica Andrade, really. But win over Bruna Brazil. She lost to Loma Lookboonmee. That's not the best, but Loma's more of a wrestler. So yeah, I think Angie, she's gonna have success. She always has success, but it's all about can she put that finishing touches on each round to really stamp it, in the judge's mind. And I don't think she can do that, and especially in Brazil. Yeah, I agree. I want Angie so bad. I'm going to be rooting for Angie, but I don't think she gets it done. I agree.
We're both going Denise Gomes. Guys, for the last 2 fights on this card, we're not going to talk about it here. I'm going to go in detail in the Discord, so just click the link in our bio, and I give a full card breakdown and all my bets. It's going to be a killer money-making night. Right, Rohan? Come on, you're with me
absolutely. Every time, man. We're making money. Y'all got to join the Discord. If you haven't already, I don't know what you're waiting for.
And he's not saying this because
I'm in it, man. He's in
the fucking Discord.
Why would I lie? Come on now. Let's go.
If you want in-depth, can't fucking speak today, breakdowns. That's like every day at this point. I'm just exhausted. Apologies. Then go to the Discord link in bio, 50% off. Let's move on. What do you want to talk about? I'll let you choose. Do you want to stick with UFC and talk about 295, or do you want to talk about the breaking James Harden trade?
Yeah, we can stick with UFC real quick.
Yeah, might as well stay.
On the John Jones situation.
So yeah, John Jones, he pulled out. Steps in both Pavlovich and Pavlovich, not and Sergey, it's the same fucking guy, and Tom Aspinall. This is a fight I'm really looking forward to, but we're not going to get in detail about that fight. You know what I want to talk about when it comes to the new UFC 295 fight? Dude, I saw on Twitter.
Yeah.
When John Jones was first scheduled to fight on that card, the ticket prices were insane. I remember I saw a bleacher seat for like $1,000 at one point. That's the cheapest fucking ticket.
Christ.
And another stat I saw, the most expensive ticket sold for that fight was $112,000.
Holy
$112,000. And now you want to know what happened to the ticket prices? They fucking dropped like 75-80%.
Damn.
Did John Jones scam UFC fans, Rohan?
Yo, I'll tell you what. I don't know if he scammed the UFC fans. Bro, if you're spending that much money, $112,000, bro, you got to be set. But hey, I feel bad for Stipe. That's all I gotta say, really. Because look, I was looking forward to this fight. I'm sure all of you were as well, man. This was gonna be a banger. But damn, like, where does Stipe go from here? That's really my only question with this fight. I just don't know what
he's gonna fight John Jones next year, right?
Yeah, that's what they're gonna do.
I think that's what they're gonna do.
But is it gonna be a title fight? Because
it's gonna be a title fight. You know, I know it's confusing, right? Because this one's interim. However, next year, what Dana said is they're gonna do John Jones, Stipe for the undisputed gold, and it's probably gonna be a double retirement, right?
Yeah, it has
but here's what you got to remember. Back in 2016, 2017, when George St. Pierre fought Michael Bisping, that was for the undisputed gold. However, Robert Whittaker was the interim champ. So this isn't the first time this has happened yet. I didn't even remember that. I had to do some research.
But Rob had been out like years consecutively with those injuries, right? That's why Izzy took the interim title.
But I don't think that had to do with injuries. I think that they just wanted that money fight, and I think that's exactly what's happening here. But yeah, John Jones, you fucking scammed UFC fans, buddy. You shouldn't have pulled out. You should have fought with the fucking torn pec. I'm obviously kidding. But yeah, we're going to get more in depth in that Aspinall Pavlovich fight next week. We're going to fucking record all of our shit early for UFC 295 because, in my opinion, it's one of the biggest cards of the year. That and UFC 296. We got a lot to say about that fight. It's going to be a banger, and I could see it going either way. But I'm not going to say anything more because we got to save talk for later on. Let's switch to NBA. Rohan, 3 a.m. last night. Man. I'm making some pasta in our kitchen.
Yeah, I'm writing about spaghetti? The Warriors. Yeah, you're right.
I'm making spaghetti. You know, unfortunately, I finished the spaghetti. No more. I got to go to the grocery store tomorrow. And all of a sudden, I get a notification. Breaking. James Harden traded to the Clippers from Adrian Wojnarowski. You know all the fake accounts on Twitter with Adrian Wojnarowski. It's like Adrian Wojnarowski. Mm-hmm. It's all misspelled.
I block them all, man. I mute them all.
I had to click on the profile, click on it again, refresh, make sure it was real, and then I yelled to Rohan and our other roommate Banked, "Oh my God, James Harden just got traded to the Clippers for absolutely nothing." We find out 30 minutes later that he got traded for absolutely nothing. What was it? Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, a pick it was a great pick.
2 pick swaps.
Go ahead.
So the full package: Robert Covington, Marcus Morris, Nick Batum, 2 unprotected first round picks. One of them actually from the Thunder. They worked their way to involve one of those Thunder picks in there, and a pick swap. So 3 picks and 3 expiring contracts. Just not the best return for James Harden.
For James Harden.
Oh boy.
And you know what pisses me off about this?
Yeah.
The fucking Cleveland Cavaliers, if you guys don't know, this is our favorite team right here, the New York Knicks. The Cleveland Cavaliers were asking for fucking 7 or 8 first-round picks for Donovan Mitchell.
On top of like RJ
and a bunch of killer players. And all the Clippers had to do, they didn't even get Terrence Mann. All they had to do to get James Harden was give up bum role players and a fucking first-rounder in 2028. It just makes me sad. It makes me so fucking sad because we were close so many times, and I don't want to make this a petty thing with the Knicks. We got to talk about James Harden, how he's going to fit with the Clippers. But it just makes me so mad that this is how the NBA works, and all these teams want to fuck over the Knicks. Fuck them. But let's talk about Harden. Rohan, how do you grade this trade? Give me a letter, give me a number, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, so I'm going to actually do a short video later this week to actually, in-depth grade this trade. But if I just off the top, I got to give the Sixers like a D, maybe.
D. Damn.
And the Clippers, they get an A from me. I think they didn't give up men. And not only that, they didn't give up Norman Powell. They still have those 2 depth pieces.
And they still have good depth overall,
Yeah, they still do have good depth. You got Bones Highland there. You got, I think they still have Miles Plumlee.
They do.
Man, they're a deep team. And you add James Harden. That was really all they were missing was a table setter, somebody to organize the offense, somebody to get everybody set up. And one thing that gets lost on a lot of people, a lot of the casual NBA viewers, obviously James Harden and his playoff struggles are well documented. We know this guy, and when it gets to playoff time, he kind of folds. But if you're looking for somebody to just set you up and run an offense, there's not many people that do it better than James Harden. We saw him, absolutely just spoon feed Joel Embiid, and that's how he got his MVP, because every shot was wide open because of the attention that James Harden draws, the ability to just pinpoint, drop the dime right where you want it. I think that's going to help Kawhi and Paul George so much. So I love this trade for the Clippers. And then you look at Philly, the only thing that matters there is Joel Embiid. Only thing that matters is what he thinks. And as Knicks fans, we're praying that he does not like this move and that he starts to get uncomfortable. But this dude has been really patient with the Sixers organization. Tyrese Maxey appears to be taking another step. He just won Player of the Week in the Eastern Conference. I think the Sixers team is still going to be able to compete when it comes to the playoffs. I don't think so. I think that they will be outmatched by Boston, outmatched by Milwaukee. But man, I think they're setting up for these free agency next year because they just cleared a lot of money with Harden's contract off the books. They're probably going to figure out a way to get Tobias but off the books as well. But I personally think that the way the Sixers are going to go about this is they're going to look to target, with all these expiring contracts, another deal around the deadline. And I could see somebody like Zach LaVine, somebody like Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, those kind of guys in trade talks, linked with the Sixers because they have a lot of assets now to use and use towards making another move. Sorry. So I don't think they're done. I don't like this trade. It's ass, but I don't think they're done. That's my point.
Yeah, fair. And one more question I'm going to ask you before we wrap. Let's go back to the Clippers.
Yeah.
If they face the Suns, if they face the the Nuggets in the playoffs, how does it go? I mean, you look at the starting lineup: Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard.
Man, Russ and James are back together.
How is that going to work? Do they stand a chance in the playoffs? Do you see this team as a potential legit championship contender?
I do, man. I do.
You do.
I think they got PJ Tucker as well.
How's it going to work, though? How's it going to work?
So, yeah, I mean, again, how is it going to work? We don't know. We have to see it first. But I think that, just having James there, and obviously he's not going to have to do as much as he did, not even in Philly, but I mean, any stop prior to LA, I don't think he's ever had, this limited of a role, and not in a bad way, just that he doesn't have to do too much. He just has to worry about getting everybody involved because the scoring is going to come from Kawhi Leonard and Paul George if those guys are healthy again. But how do they match up against Denver? I don't know, because Denver has always had this team's number.
Denver beats them.
They have their way with the Clippers every time, and I don't know if James Harden can solve that issue. But I'm interested to see how the rotation changes, especially because Russ has been the starting point guard. I don't know if he'll stay in the starting lineup. I could see him being moved to the bench. He's been willing to accept that role in the past. So I don't know. I think they match up well. They have a chance. They got PJ Tucker on the bench now. Like I said, their depth is still there, but I don't think they beat Denver. And I think they have a better chance against Phoenix, but I don't think they beat Phoenix either.
I've always been a big believer that Denver is going. They're going.
Yeah, man. Look,
they have the best team.
They got the best team in the league.
Team.
They're just the best, the most cohesive, they're just the best, man. They're the best. They showed it last year, and they're showing it right now. They're 4-0 to start the year. Nobody's really putting up a fight against them, and I don't see how this trade is. I think the Clippers are now 5th in the title favored or
it's
odds
so much
right
talent
now.
on that team, though, man. It's hard.
It's a lot of talent, but dude, to your point, when it comes to basketball in general, it's a team sport, man, and no team is better than the Denver Nuggets, and they got the best player in the league as well, Nikola Jokic. So yeah, I don't think that they're getting enough love, and I think they're clearly the favorites still in the Western Conference, even after this trade. But man, James Harden, fuck him, man. Watching him all these years, watching him just pick his destination and force his way there, and he doesn't care about who he upsets. It's just really annoying to watch. But hey, he's where he wants to be now. So and by the way, one more thing I'll say: James Harden, he's played with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Joel Embiid, Chris Paul, Kawhi Leonard, Kyrie Irving, and Paul George. If this motherfucker does not win a ring in his career, one of the biggest disappointments of all time.
Embarrassing as shit. Folks, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast episode, the UFC and the NBA talk. Let us know what you want more of down below. Subscribe, do it all, because we're providing banging content all the time. Instagram, link is in our bio. TikTok, link is in our bio. Discord, link in our bio. Everything is in our bio, or not the bio, description. Dude, I'm having a rough day. I hope you guys enjoyed.
We wrapping
up,
Lucas
and Rohan.
Peace.